The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Tuesday, 26th of May.
The FujiCast.
Welcome to the FujiCast for what is, Kev, the final Tech-Free Tuesday.
Oh, I'm going to miss Tech-Free Tuesday.
I know, or No Tech Tuesday. What did we end up calling it? It's had sort of several names over the last couple of weeks, I think.
Tech-Free, I think.
Tech-Free,
yeah.
Well, I think we can carry on a Tech-Free Tuesday of sorts, because, of course, when we start recording the weeklies with each other, then we were just starting to do some YouTube stuff, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And I reckon this would sort of translate nicely over onto some of those fun little YouTube things we were doing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. Yep.
So we'll carry on of sorts, and if there are some sort of tech-free ones that are quite sort of good for photography answers, we'll just shove them in the weekly show as well. So,
well, we could always do like once every 6 weeks or something. Could be a tech-free weekly.
But that's true.
But never have the same ring to it, does it?
It doesn't really, no. And I'm not sure what you want to rhyme with weekly. So anyway, welcome to the final Tech-Free Tuesday in the dailies, on the daily podcast, which was once weekly, now daily, and of course going back to weekly from the 8th of June. We're going to mop up these questions, so we're going to have to fire through them. Are you ready? Should we go for... Oh, by the way, first of all, we, myself and Kev, I'm not sure, you might actually be sort of raising your eyebrow at me now, as if to say, no, this wasn't an arrangement, we didn't agree to mention this, but myself and Kev have just entered a physical fitness arrangement.
Fat challenge.
Fat challenge. What was that thing on Little Britain? Fat Busters, wasn't it? Or something like that. Fat Fighters. You are something else, that one.
Dust. Have some dust, please. Dust.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we're going to be eating for the next month and 1 week, isn't it? So we're not going to say the actual weight, because we did get a question about this, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago on Tech Free Tuesday? Was it even last week, maybe?
Yeah, somebody asked how we'd expanded during the lockdown.
And the answer was we had each. So we're going for it's a certain amount of weight loss, and we need to get it by the end of June, don't we?
Yeah.
So for you, what does that mean you need to cut out?
Beer, mostly, well, entirely.
Is that going to be easy? Because as we enter, I mean, it's practically been barbecue season anyway, but look at it outside today. It's another beautiful day.
Yeah, but, you know, the thing for me is that I like to have a beer, you know that, but it's not... I definitely, since the lockdown, I've kind of just gone... Well, I'm just going to have one. But actually, usually after a few, I'm like, oh, I don't want another one. But then I just do because they're in the house. So, and also, it's not going to be exclusively gone forever. You know, for example, this week, my challenge to myself, to my little city head, is Friday. When we do the pub quiz on Friday, then I'll have a beer. Or maybe I'll have a little posh glass of rosé or something instead. But I'm going to try not to have, between now and then, 65 tins of beer.
So, like, next door, they're already doing... They've sparked up the barbie already. It's a sunny day, and I'm thinking, oh, that'd be nice couple of ribs and a couple of beers, which I'm not going to do because we've started from now, haven't we? We've started from now, both of us, on this on this challenge we're on. But that's going to be tricky. So, what do you drink when you smell that lovely barbie going and you think, oh yeah, that'd be nice to sit out there, read my book, have a little beer? What do you do instead?
I like I drink a lot of kind of very weak squash. That's what I typically drink, you know, when I'm normally existing. It's not very weak squash. I like that. I have it in a an exercise bottle. What do they call those things?
What?
You know, like one of those plastic bottles with a straw at the top, you know, that you might take to the gym or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, but yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, right, okay. So you just keep it on. So I've got my little water bottle here.
Oh, yeah, that's the word I meant. Water bottle. Yeah. There you go.
And my one has on the side of it a morning and afternoon target. It should actually have lube breaks all the way down it. But I try to put a bit of lemon in there. If you have any ideas, by the way, what sort of stuff can you drink when you're not allowed to drink beer? Anyway, let's leap into these questions. Adam Ramjing. Hello, chaps. Quick question from me. Who would win between you two in an arm wrestle? Oh, that's easy, Kev. Kev would.
I don't know.
You're all muscle.
You're quite a strong-looking chap.
No, just big. I think personally, I do think it's Kev. because of his rugby background. He's all muscle, is Kev. And he's determined as well.
Dense, Jammer calls me. Dense, your body's so dense. Because I can't float in a swimming pool. I just sink.
I'm not sure that's the reason she's calling you dense. John Basley. Question for Kev. Did your lovely family pet affectionately known as Git get his or her name because of a defining moment of Gitness? Or was it a culmination of a small, gradual Git-like event that caused the name to stick? Good question.
Very good question. And of course, his real name isn't Git. His real name is Monty.
Monty, of course, yeah. But now known affectionately as Git.
Git, yeah, no, he's good as gold, bless him, but he just stinks. You know, he's into everything and eats everything and licks everything. And I'm like, oh my God, ugh, Git.
What's the worst thing he's ever done? I remember when you first.
I cannot say it.
I remember when you first took him on, and the stuff you used to tell me. I was thinking, no, make him sleep outside.
I'm not saying it's just, you know me. Normally, I'm happy to say almost everything, but I will not say that thing.
Give us something slightly better than the sort of stuff that he's done that's not as bad as the one you can't say.
Well, it's all pretty bad, really. But no, he's not. He's fine. It's just, you know, it's boy dogs, isn't it? They like to do things with their tongues on their own bodies and then run up to you and lick your eyeballs and things like that.
Stop it. Yeah, okay.
Whereas Izzy doesn't do anything. She just kind of sits there with a little princess hat on.
Oh, no.
Just kind of looks beautifully at everything,
being perfect.
And then Monty the Git runs around. You know, he'll leap up as soon as anybody even breathes outside the window. He'll leap in the air, knock my drink over, yap at the window, knock everything else over, step on my phone and dial the police.
But he has loads of character, your dog.
Yeah, he's got loads of character.
Loads of character. How old is Git, by the way?
He's about 2.
Oh my God, you've got him for years then.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully, yeah.
George Jamison, what's the biggest professional boo-boo that you've both made in any of your jobs? So not necessarily photographically here.
I remember once when I worked at Microsoft, it was right in the early days of Microsoft Exchange Server and stuff like that, and it was the first time we had like groups, email groups and things, stuff like that, and whenever you had something to sell at Microsoft, you would send it to your team or whatever. Say, I've got an old computer I'm selling if you're interested, and blah blah blah. And a friend of mine, who's now an ex-friend of mine, said, "Oh, send it to this email address because more people will get to see it." And I'm not going to read out the email address because it still exists, and I know this still exists. Anyway, this particular email address at Microsoft.com went to every single person in the entire in Microsoft, everybody worldwide, including Bill Gates,
including Bill.
And I was only on my work placement at the time, and I got hauled into the manager's office.
Oh no!
You should not be doing. There are very important people who do not want to know that you're selling a Dell laptop. Ever. And the worst thing about it was I said, comes complete with Microsoft Office. and he was like, and you can't sell software without licensing it, blah, blah, blah.
Did maybe the great Bill from on high, did he have anything to say about it? He should have his own jingle, really, should Bill on high. Did he say anything, Kev? You can't.
I suspect his emails went through his PA or something first, so hopefully he never got to see it.
Yeah. He still owes you some money, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. It was me a favour.
Yes. Well, I have thought of one actually, which goes back to radio days. Now, actually, Radio 1. I did an early morning show for quite a while at the weekends when I was there, and I remember one early morning. I was just doing what I do, and I made a mistake going into a record, and I hated, one of the things presenters try to do is they talk over the intro to get up to the vocal, don't they? Yeah? Mm-hmm. You take great pride in that. And I think I did what's called crashed the lyrics. So I was so angry. I'd made a number of mistakes, and this one was just the straw that broke the camel's back. I threw my headphones off, and I shouted, "F it!" really loudly, only to look down and see the microphone was still faded up. In other words, switched on.
Who was that person that you said you played the record and said, "Oh, is this such a shame that he's died?"
Oh, Bob Dylan.
Years ago.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, yeah. He's still alive now.
I tell you what, though, there is a slight claim to fame with that, because Piers Morgan, who was, I think he was doing the Bazaar column at the time. Was he? I'm sure he was. He was involved in The Sun anyway. He wrote this big thing about how radio and disc jockeys knew nothing about music, and quoted me. So thanks, Piers.
Would have been Bob Dylan's 71st birthday.
I know. If he was still alive today, what a shame. Yeah, so mine tend to be radio related. Fortunately, haven't made too much of a boo-boo yet in photography. Chris Leake. Could either of you do the kind of things that they do on I'm a Celeb, like the Bush Tucker... I think I know the answer to this straight away. Like the Bush Tucker trials, being in holes with insects, or having a spider in your mouth?
I reckon I could do most of it. I have to say, I always say this to Gemma, because I don't believe they would put you in danger in these things. It's horrible, but I don't think they're going to put a spider in your mouth that's going to, has got venom in it or anything. However, I wouldn't like that. But what I couldn't do, I couldn't bite something like a ostrich's
testicle.
An ostrich's testicle. I should have picked an easier animal, shouldn't I? Like sheep's testicle.
Yeah.
That explodes in your mouth, or the eyeball.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't do that.
No. But you could actually put a spider in your mouth.
I think I could do that. Yeah, I think so, because I don't believe that. I mean, I wouldn't do that generally in the bush, obviously, but I tend to think that they're not going to put dangerous animals in your mouth live on ITV at 7 o'clock.
All right, well, let me throw this one at you then, okay? A maybug, which we talked about last week. Now, a maybug does nothing to you. It's completely harmless, it's clumsy, and it flies into your head, but it won't hurt you.
Oh, yeah, I could easily bite on them.
Could you really?
No.
The other day you ran out the room.
I'd be all right. It's just that, when you're in bed and you've got one buzzing around in the room. No, that's not for me. But yeah, I would do it. If they paid me enough money, I would do anything.
What about being in those holes with insects and putting your hands in amongst cockroaches, and sometimes you're in there with those baby crocodiles and stuff like that, and they're nipping at you, and lobsters, and
I could do that. I'm sure I could do it. I mean, I would have to. I'm sure it might be a bit different if the opportunity was there in front of me, but I'm sure I could do it. Again, because I don't think they would ever put you in front of danger.
So there's these things called pestrons in the UK that they take round to show people that you can live on eating insects, and so they put little grubs in amongst your lettuce and stuff like that, and you get a chance to feed on it. Could you do that?
I wouldn't do it just because this is like a new trendy hipster way of eating or something. Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I don't want to eat poor little grubs. But no, I could do it if it was on a TV show and they were paying me money.
It's all. Well, do you know what? You would have to sort of, to use a horrible old-fashioned phrase, man up, wouldn't you? Because you'd be thinking, how many millions of people are watching this thinking, Kev, go on, Kev, go on, eat it. Go on, my son, go on.
Yeah.
Because if you they just vote those that they think are the weakest into those things, don't they?
Generally.
If you show any fear, you just get voted over and over into it.
Yeah. There's been some very, very funny scenes on that programme.
Yeah, there are. I like that show. Right, Nick Cloyden sent in quite a few, so let's take just a couple of his. Which cartoons do you still watch? For me, that's easy, The Simpsons, because that counts as a cartoon. I know it's an adult one, but it counts, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't watch that though. I did accidentally watched Finding Dory the other day, and it was hysterical. I really like that. Kids were watching it.
Yeah. Oh, all those are great, aren't they? And Cars, like Cars.
Yeah.
Tell you what about The Simpsons though. They have predicted so much stuff on that show, haven't they?
Well, I'm going to burst your bubble a bit here.
Oh, no, don't. Well, the three that I remember are. He says Ebola outbreak, Donald Trump being president.
Yeah, but if you go to Snopes.com,
right,
there's a whole section on things that the Simpsons didn't actually predict, but people think they did predict. So what happened was a lot of clever people put like clips together, parts of different episodes of the Simpsons, and said, look, they predicted that Donald Trump would be president and everything. No. And it actually wasn't quite true. Although that one might be true, but a lot of them aren't.
Okay.
Have fun.
I thought that was my Nostradamus of the cartoon world.
Yeah.
And
Snopes.com is amazing. Anything that comes up on Facebook or anything and you think, I'm not sure about that, go to Snopes.com.
Snopes, SNOPES.com.
Yep, fact check glory.
Fact checker. Yeah, all right. What are the 3 things you would do if you were stranded in a rainforest to ensure your survival? I'd only need one. I hope my mobile would be with me. I'd call up Bear Grylls. Hello, Bear. Any chance you could pop over?
To ensure your survival. Well, I don't know. What are you meant to do? Aren't you meant to dig a hole to keep yourself warm?
Yeah.
You'd have to wee in a cup that obviously you'd have, and then boil that and drink it.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to look for grubs and eat them.
I'd probably look for the water first. But what if you couldn't find the grubs? You sort of need to then live off the...
You can last for months without eating, can't you? It's drinking you need.
Yeah. Actually, Paul had another one here, which is quite interesting. Would you mind getting famous, even if it's from bad publicity? Oh, I don't think I'd like that. No, I'd like to keep my nose clean.
No, I would never. I would hate to be famous, I have to say. I mean, I'd like the money and the cars and everything else, but I wouldn't want to be followed around and, I hate all that stuff. I would hate it.
Yeah. And as soon as at the moment, whether you like him or not, I can't say I'm particularly partial to him, but let's mention him, Dominic Cummings, okay? Whatever he's done, whatever he hasn't done, I tell you what, now the press have got their claws into him, because instead of sort of spinning his way out of it, I'm not sure if you could have done that, to be honest, but he sort of went into loggerhead battle with them, and I think once they've got their claws into you, they're not going to give up, are they?
I saw a picture on the BBC News this afternoon, actually, of what he was getting out of his car, and there's about 30 newspaper photographers, and they've all got masks on, but they're all literally shoulder to shoulder, cheek jowl to jowl, pushing each other out the way, trying to get these pictures. And I'm thinking, that's not social distancing.
No. Well, that's what he told them off for, wasn't it? He said 2 meters, and you could see they were thinking, "We'll get you." Yeah. Steve Ward, a friend of mine, from quite a long. I haven't spoken to him for ages. He'd make a fascinating guest. Actually, I must get in touch with him. He worked in the press packs, and he said one of the tricks we used to pull on each other while we were on our ladders is we'd lean across and just switch focus on the camera that was next to us. This one is from Wayne Loveys from Newfoundland and Labrador and Canada, which I think sounds like one of the most idyllic places to live. Neil and Kev love the show, listen to it every morning. It's a ray of photographic sunshine in a COVID-19 storm, yada, yada, yada. A 2-part question. Firstly, if you could have dinner with any photographer, alive or dead, who would it be? Secondly, if you could have been a wedding photographer for any couple, alive or dead, who would it be? Bit of a theme going on here from Wayne Loveys. Well, I had a chance to think about this, so if you want a second, I'll go for mine first, shall I?
Go on then. Yeah.
I would very much like to have dinner with Salgado, because I think it will bring so much balance to my life. I think to be able to talk to him about the world, might not like everything I hear, because he's very much a realist, but I just think he would be fascinating personally, photographically, emotionally, spiritually, all of it. And as for photographing a couple's wedding, I think I know who you're going to choose, by the way, because you can go back in time with it. I think I'd love to have shot something like Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor's wedding. Actually, 2, because they got married twice. Actually, being a Hollywood photographer, you could probably base your career around just a couple of brides and grooms, couldn't you, for all that repeat business?
And under Welsh, they in their little stand they still have their Old Deer Park. There's still a seat that was Richard Burton's seat.
Really?
Yeah, he used to come watch with Elizabeth Taylor. She used to go. They used to both go there in the 70s.
And they've kept the seat there with his name
still
on
there.
it.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It says Richard seat. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So go on. Who's so dinner with somebody, and then whose wedding would you photograph?
I think I'd like to have dinner with David Bailey.
Oh, I nearly chose him. Why would you choose him?
Because we'd only talk about photography for 5 minutes, and then we'd just get drunk.
Unless you're on this thing that you're doing at the moment.
Sorry,
David, I'm on orange juice today. What the f*** are you talking about? Have a beer and shut the f*** up.
Weddings, I would do Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn.
Oh, God. And Anne Boleyn?
Yeah.
Which, now, remind me of my history. Did she last?
No, I don't think any of them lasted really in the end. One of them did. Anne Boleyn. No, so hang on, I'm thinking now.
I mean, physically last.
It was Catherine of Aragon was first, and then Anne Boleyn I think was second, and she was beheaded, definitely. And then was it Jane? Did Jane Seymour or Anne of Cleves come next? I think Jane Seymour came next. Yeah, Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn.
Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was a lavish do. Probably was, wasn't it?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Do you think they had a disco or a band?
Yeah, they would have had the probably a chocolate fountain.
They wouldn't have had a chocolate fountain, would they? Do you imagine? Henry VIII. He did like a sweet meal, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was.
He'd have had a carvery, wouldn't he? Definitely a carvery. He wouldn't have wanted one of these sort of. He wouldn't have wanted just the chicken to come out with a couple of blobs of potato. He'd said no. He wanted a carvery. They could get it back again.
Give me the whole chicken.
Do you imagine that? A magician. He'd have wanted a magician.
Yeah. Well, they would have had the court jesters. They would have been there.
Imagine in those days how different. Oh yeah, court jesters instead of magicians. So it does kind of work. So it'd have had, he would have had music, entertainment. But I tell you what, he probably wouldn't have had. He wouldn't have had the chair cover lady.
No, chair cover lady wouldn't have been there. No,
I'm not paying 3 sovereigns for chair covers. Right, Ali Stewart Ross. We've only got a couple more. Then that's it. There were a few questions from Ali Stewart Ross. So what should we go for? If you had to go and live and work abroad as a photographer, where would you relocate to? I've always fancied going to live in Spain. There we go. And either making my living as a photographer or running a B&B, yes, and offering residential photography courses. So which country would you choose to go to, and do you think you could get enough work to survive? So says Ali Stewart Ross, friend of the show.
Well, for me, this all depends on whether this is real life opportunity or whether it's, your dream life.
Do a bit of dream.
Okay, so that would involve me not having the family, and let's just say I'm 21 and young and footloose and fancy free.
I don't think Gemma's very happy about that. No.
I'd love to go to somewhere like one of the research centres in the South Pole or the North Pole.
Bit cold. It doesn't. That's not the first place I was thinking you'd say.
Yeah, I know. If that was my dream, or like the Outer Hebrides, we talked about that the other day. Then we the Isle of Arran or somewhere like that.
Yeah,
love all that. Documenting all those little lives. Well, not. I don't mean little lives as in demeaning them, but the small amount of people that are there. But in real life, if this was real life, yes, then Spain, I would like to do something similar, a nice retreat in Spain, somewhere near Sorbas or something like that. And actually, that's not something that we haven't thought about in the past.
Are you talking about we, as in you and I, or are you talking about you and Gemma?
No, me and Gemma, yeah.
I was going to say, I don't remember you talking to me about it.
Yeah, me and Gemma.
Next
Pillow
time.
talk.
Yeah, oh, really? Oh, that definitely wasn't me then. That was definitely you and Gemma. Yes. Last tech-free Tuesday question. We've gone all through them, and it's this one. Terry with an I, Hetherington. So you're both wedding photographers and reasonably well-known ones. I like this. Well, Kevin is anyway. If, however, you could wake up today still with your business, still with a level of achievement, but in a totally different type, style, or genre of photography, what would that skill set be? What would you choose?
Does that mean looking at a difference, photographing something completely different other than weddings that have a similar kind of income? Well, for me, I suppose there's two for me. I'd quite like to be a behind-the-scenes sports photojournalist, like on the team bus with the Welsh rugby team, in the changing rooms, in the bars afterwards, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or I'd quite like to be a political photographer as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Why would you choose that?
Well, I just think you get a lot of good, and I don't mean the stuff you see in the papers. I mean the stuff that comes out in the autobiographies 20 years after they've retired. That kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. I quite like that. I think that'd be interesting.
Well, I always remember, who was it? John Swanell, I think it was, who was talking about photographing Margaret Thatcher. Not everybody's favourite politician, I appreciate. But he said it was fascinating meeting her because she was very, very... she was sorted as in how she wanted to be photographed, and so therefore when he asked her to stand against the window and be backlit, she was none too impressed by the request. And but I mean, he pulled the picture off, but I would have thought those sort of interactions would be fascinating, wouldn't they? I think I'd choose a similar kind of. We talked about Platon so much over the last couple of weeks, so I feel a bit of a cliche actually. repeating his name again, but I think I'd choose him, Platon-style portrait photographer, because you'd meet and interview some amazing people. And I think Platon talks as much about. I mean, I think he quite enjoys interviewing them as he's photographing them.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I think that would be fascinating. As for being on the rugby buses, I'll leave that to your speciality. I think you'd be great. And that's it. Tech Free Tuesday. Business is done.
Bye. Tech Free Tuesday.
No, yeah, goodbye Tech Free Tuesday. No more Tech Free Tuesdays. Although, shall we breathe some life back into it and do them on YouTube, on the YouTube channel for the FujiCast?
Yeah, why not?
I think that might be quite fun. Your light, funnily enough, the lights, they're all still set up here for you. The cameras have not changed. They're still bolted in here. It's almost as if they're just waiting for Kev to return. Your seat is, I'm looking at it now, your seat is there. It's not been sat in. And it's been sat in by the kids, but behind you, I've changed the set slightly behind you. You know, all the whiskey set that I had that was once upon. I've put it all behind you, so you can look like the one that needs several glasses of whiskey before he starts the show, rather than me.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting back in the studio, I have to say.
All right, mate. Well, good luck with... so we've started, have we? Officially, the weight loss challenge has started now, has it?
Indeed.
There should be some... we should have some sort of effect, like a bell or something. What would be... okay, this registers the start of the competition. After this, that's it. So you've got a certain kilogram that you want to get to. I've got. Are we saying it or we?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
But we will tell you if we reach it. That'll be fair.
Yeah. So don't expect to hear from us again on the topic.
On the topic. That's it. Right. Wednesday book tomorrow. Have you chosen one yet, or you're going to go away and find one?
Not yet. I will. The one I had in mind, I looked on the internet and I thought, no, it's totally unavailable, so I won't go for that one. So I'll get another one.
All right. Well, it's books tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Cheers, Kev.
Bye-bye.
The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.